All right, so a few of you have asked what a day in the life of recovery looks like. For those of you who don't know, on July 13th, I was in an accident competing in a powerlifting meet. I lost my balance with the 750 pound squat and tore both my quad tendons. And so we're sitting here. It's actually 7 weeks from today that I got hurt. I'm already walking in some braces with a friendly reminder of the wheelchair and the walker that I was using, but I don't need them anymore. I start my day the same every day. I wake up and then I grab a coffee, and then I hop into my PEMF machine and I read a book for about 30 minutes, and then I get some work done for about 30 minutes. So an hour in the PEMF in the morning, and then I'm gonna get up, throw my muscle stim on, and make some breakfast before I head to the gym. As you can see, the house is like a fucking pigsty. All my office stuff in the living room, because we still have the hospital bed in my office, and hopefully within the next week we'll be able to get that out, get my office all set up, and then I'll be back to normal. But having the bed in there, even though I don't need it and I'm sleeping back upstairs in our bed, it is nice to have because it's really comfortable to sit in, put the PEMF on or put a muscle stim on and just work while I do the passive rehab. But this week I should be ready to get rid of it. Breakfast is normal. The only thing I'm changing about breakfast is adding in 15 grams of collagen peptides, and I add in 15 grams with my first meal and 15 grams of the Greek yogurt and berries that I have before bed. Collagen supplementation can be effective in helping collagen synthesis. So everything that I'm doing on a daily basis is to optimize recovery, to make sure that my body has the building blocks for recovery, the cement to pile those blocks on top of each other, and the workers doing the best job that they can. So breakfast is scoop and a half of isolate, 15 grams of collagen peptides, 150 grams of berries, 45 grams cream of rice, 20 grams of peanut butter, and then I have my supplements here. Other things that I've done supplementation wise to improve recovery, I've increased my omega-3. So omega-3 supplementation is at 5 grams of EPA, DHA combined. That's not 5 grams of fish oil, that's 5 grams of EPA and DHA. So when you look at the label of your fish oil, it'll say how much fish oil is in it and then how much EPA and DHA, which are the active or the most important omega-3 fat chains. I'm going for a very, very high amount of omega-3 because it is anti-inflammatory and it does help with healing. Some other things that I've included, a supplement called serapeptase, which serapeptase is again important or helpful in collagen synthesis and avoiding scar tissue actually. So it's kind of like a scar tissue supplement. One of the things that happens after a surgery is your scars are a different composition than the rest of the tissue around it. So they kind of get sticky. So one thing I've noticed is my skin is sticking underneath and it feels very tough and tight. So on top of some of the rehab stuff that I'm doing for the scars, serapeptase can help get in there and break it up. The other thing that I've included is additional vitamin C. Vitamin C is a cofactor for collagen synthesis. So adding in some vitamin C, I believe I take 2 grams per day. And then I increased my curcumin. Curcumin is honestly, it's a staple supplement for me, but it is anti-inflammatory. So I increased it. And then a supplement called Boswellia. Boswellia is an herb similar to curcumin that has antioxidant and anti-inflammatory effects, but its effects are actually seen to be specific to tendon inflammation. So since my injury is a tendon injury, I decided why not? That's dosed at 2 grams per day. So not much change. Staple supplements are still the same staple supplements. I also have in here, if on the pharmaceutical supplement standpoint, I have added in 5 milligrams of Anavar or oxandrolone twice a day, so 10 milligrams total. Oxandrolone at low doses is used in burn victims, and it's phenomenal for helping tissue regrowth. So just including a very low dose of oxandrolone, not for the muscle building effects, not for the muscle wasting effects. I'm doing plenty of stuff to avoid that from a rehab perspective and from a training perspective. It's just in there to really help with collagen synthesis. So I'm gonna get my breakfast in, and then we're gonna head to the gym. All right, just got in the car, gonna head to the gym. I forgot my muscle stim in the car, so we are doing it while we drive. And don't worry, it's safe. It's just hard enough that I can feel it. It's not actually affecting what's happening with my lower leg. driving safely. Yeah, so just gonna head to the gym, get some training in. Today is gonna be a lower body day, so you'll see what I'm able to do for my lower body, how we're working in lower body training with the rehab portion, and I'll give you a rundown on what I'm doing as I'm doing it. Alright, so we're home from training now. I'm sitting in my PEMF again, get some extra recovery and some food. Meal right now is 180 grams of venison, 150 grams of rice, some kimchi, some veggies, and I had 2 kiwis, which were delicious. I've also got a nice cup of cold brew coffee, and I got my laptop here as well. Gonna get some work done. So the workout was awesome. It feels really good to be back in and training. Right now my split is a little bit weird. I'm training legs every other day. When I say legs, I mean the actual training of my legs, and what I can do is happening every other day. But every single day I go in and I do my rehab work. So my rehab work right now in the gym consists of isometrics. Essentially, I set my knee braces to a range of motion that I'm allowed. It started at 30 degrees, it's now progressed to 60. And every 3 to 4 days, I've just added 10 degrees. And what I do is, so I lock the braces at that range of motion, which means I can't flex past that range of motion. And then I do some isometrics. So today's workout started with a breathing drill against the wall. I'm finding that throughout this rehab process, because my legs have been straight for so long and my hips have been flexed for so long, I'm developing a lot of lower back discomfort. So 2 drills that I did today were to get me back into a more neutral hip position and regain some of the hip extension that I've lost. If you don't know, part of the quadriceps, the rectus femoris, is actually a hip flexor. So if it's always in a flexed position, it gets short and then hip flexion gets tight. So I'm trying to regain a little bit of hip extension through these drills. So I started with just a supine breathing drill in a modified 90-90 position. So knees and hips aren't quite at 90 because I can't get them there. But what I'm doing there is I'm pushing into the wall just slightly with the block between my knees and breathing in through my nose, out through my mouth, trying to activate my pelvic floor. The next 2 exercises I did were new to today. I did a supported hip airplane, which felt amazing, getting my foot used to supporting my body weight and going through hip internal and external rotation. Then I supersetted that with a supine cross connect. All I'm doing is I put that block underneath my thigh and I'm pushing down on that block, trying to suck my belly button back and breathing in through my nose, out through my mouth as I try to meet my elbow and my knee. I'm obviously very limited in that position, but it's only gonna get better. From there, I got into my rehab. So first, on the seated leg curl, 5 sets, 20 seconds with the brace set at 60 degrees. And I only have enough weight on there so that I can actually feel it. I'm not trying to overload these. I'm not trying to fail. We're just trying to turn the muscle on and get some neuromuscular recruitment, because what we're trying to do is we're trying to essentially tell my muscles that it's okay to produce force through these ranges. I essentially have more range right now than I have more motor control. So what we're trying to do with the isometrics is we're trying to catch that up. So I did 5 sets, 20 seconds on there. Then I went over to I did the leg extension first. Usually I would do the laying leg curl and then the extension, but there was someone on the leg curl. So I did leg extensions, again, 60 degrees, 5 sets, 20 seconds. Then I moved on to the hamstring curl, 5 sets, 20 seconds at 60 degrees. And then onto the leg press, 5 sets, 20 seconds at 60 degrees. I am not pushing maximally on any of these. I'm just setting it at a weight that I can push against, feel my muscle turn on, and making sure that I don't have any pain. This week was the first week at 60 degrees, so I wanted to make sure that everything was good to go. From there, I actually got into the training. So the first thing I did some adductors with a 4-2-1-2 tempo, focusing on full control, full contraction. It's been really funny getting back into the gym because at first I was so weak and I'm keeping my volume very low. I'm only doing 1 or 2 working sets of every exercise because my frequency is every other day. So today I did 1 set of adductors to failure. And to put this into perspective, the first time I did it, I got 90 pounds for 12. And then the next week, like 2 days later, I did 90 pounds for 21. Then I went up to 112 for 11 and then 112 for 18. And these are all just 1 day apart. So the progressive overload is happening very quickly and my nervous system is coming back online. From there, I went into abductors, so just training the glutes. I have to be careful on this one because the tendency is to push down through the feet. But because I'm not allowed to load through my quads, I'm trying to reduce as much co-contraction as possible, meaning I'm not trying to flex my quads while I'm doing any of these exercises. I'm actually trying to avoid that altogether. So it's a bit more challenging on that exercise. From there, I went into another exercise that was new for me, reintegrating it. It's the B stance landmine RDL. My intent here was to get a little bit of rotation through my hips and it worked perfectly. I just loaded it very light, but I'm very, very weak in these movements because I've been so sedentary for so long. And even now my step count's relatively low. It's still only about 5,000 steps per day. So did 2 sets there. 1 set on the adductors, 1 set on the abductors, 2 sets of the single leg RDL. Then the back attack. So the back attack is actually, I'm so glad we have this machine because I would love to do a 45-degree hyper, but because the angle of the 45-degree hyper and the way that the ankle pad and hip pad rest, it was just way too much pressure on the backs of my knees. But with the back attack, because I can have a soft knee, it feels amazing. So I can get in some hip hinge work, I can get in some lengthened hamstring work, I can get in some low back and glute work, and it's something I can load very heavy. So 1 set to failure there. Putting things into perspective again, first time I did 1 plate for 18 reps. The next time I did it, I did 2 plates for 14 reps. And then this time I added a 25. So at 2 plates and a 25, and I only lost 1 rep. So added 25 pounds, only lost 1 rep. Progressions are happening really quickly, and I'm making sure at all times that I'm maintaining full control. So everything is tempoed, everything is paused in the lengthened position. I'm squeezing out of the bottom and I'm not using any momentum. I'm trying to keep things as controlled as possible so as to not use any compensatory patterns. From there, I did, my camera died. So I did 2 sets of hanging leg raises and 2 sets of single leg calf raises. And then I hit the road. Came home. I actually ate a meal before this, which was just ground turkey, rice, veggies, and an apple. Then I had a shower and now we're here. I charged the camera and we're here. So I'm going to eat this food. I'm going to do a little bit of work. It's a Saturday and Liv's out of town, so just gonna kind of take it easy. Catch you later. So I mentioned earlier how the scar tissue around my injuries gets kind of tight and I'm supposed to work on it. And by working on it, I mean I use this bad boy. So I use that a couple minutes a day on the scars and then, a couple minutes a day on the muscle around, just to kind of break everything up, relax everything. And then usually after this, I'll be following it up with some movement, some range of motion stuff so that any extra range I can kind of get out of reducing the tightness to the area, I can own it a little bit better by going through those ranges, going for a walk, that sort of thing. So that's just another thing I do during the day, throughout the day to get some additional recovery in. So huge win today. I'm trying to slowly increase my step count because I don't want to get too much activity too fast because obviously the tissues are still healing. So everything that we do needs to be a graded exposure. Essentially, I'm trying to slowly increase my step count. I've had a few days at 4,000, a few days at 4,500, and that's just activities of daily living, and especially being in the gym every day gives me more steps. But now we're getting to the point where I need to structure a little bit of physical activity to keep tapering my step count up. So doing it on the treadmill as opposed to outside because the treadmill does have cushioning to it. I'm only walking at 1.8 speed, so nice and slow. And I'm making sure that I'm not feeling any sort of like stretching through my knees or any sort of discomfort in the tissues. I get pretty quick feedback if something doesn't feel good, and I'm really quick to stop. So just kind of taking things easy, nice and slow. And just another thing that I do during the day. I'll hop back into the PEMF after this for my 3rd hour of the day, and then probably, do a little bit more work, and pack it in. All right, let's land this plane because I'm ready to go to sleep. Got some work done, did some more PEMF. So that was 3 hours total of PEMF today. Had my last meal, which was 15 grams of collagen, 150 grams of Greek yogurt, and 200 grams of berries with 20 grams of almond butter. Total calories for the day, around 2,800, which is a little bit up from where I was when I was, resting in bed, but still not crushing calories too much. Really just focusing on maintaining body weight, which is sitting around 243. As you remember in my full day of eating video that I did last time, around 251, about a week out from my meet. So 251 to 243, didn't lose too much weight, which is nice, but I did get pretty fat. So hoping to improve body composition a little bit more. So before bed, what I do is I take a few supplements. So I took my nattokinase, my Peptides, which both are anti-inflammation products. Nattokinase is more so for heart health. The Peptides, as I mentioned this morning, is for more so tendon health. Some zinc carnosine, which is great for your gut, also gives you a zinc supplement, and some magnesium. I actually love taking a lot of magnesium. I take a mix of half and half magnesium threonate and magnesium glycinate to help me relax and get to sleep. And then I also have, I figured I might as well be fully transparent. So I have these 3 syringes here. This one is for, I use a growth hormone. These 2 are 500 micrograms of BPC 157 and 500 micrograms of TB 500, along with 2 milligrams of GHK copper. Those are peptides that assist with the healing process. GHK copper is specifically for collagen synthesis, whereas the other 2 work synergistically to improve soft tissue recovery. I'll go over those more in detail in my recovery modality video that's going to be coming soon. I actually just wrote the script for it, so make sure I touch on all the points that you need to hear. So I'm going to put those in my knees, and then I'm going to go to sleep. So you guys got to see a little bit of everything today. You got to see some food, you got to see some training, you got to see a lot of time spent rehabbing, whether it was the PEMF, muscle stim, nutrition, supplementation, peptides, half circles on the bike. We did a lot of stuff today, and hopefully I'll be able to get you into physio with me one of these days. Just got to get approval from the clinic. But if there is anything you want to see, drop a comment below. Please make sure to like, share, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications, and we'll catch you in the next video.